Okay, so sorry. I'm still learning about how to like do my timing right on these uh slideshows and then recording them correctly and not blowing it. So anyway, sorry that there's a few minutes extra on this one, but just want to make sure that I go over it with you and that you have some background in it. So first of all, so we're talking about social studies, and this is an example of a social studies standard, and I'm not sure how much of it is on the other video because I haven't watched it yet, but I will, and edit it if I have to. But anyway, this grade 3 standard, what I want you to pay attention to here is that it looks very much like an ELA standard. It's reading for informational text, RI, and it is absolutely an ELA standard. And that is sort of the magic of the social studies framework, is that it links directly to the ELA framework. So that's kind of a help for teachers so that they can see how they can build social studies into their ELA classroom. So this is a problem in education in general, and not just in Massachusetts, that we have lost a lot of time for social studies education. And we've given it up to science education because it's super important, and greater time on math and reading. However, we realize that that's a bit of a problem, right? Because when we don't know our history, we are doomed to repeat it, as they say, but we are also not preparing citizens who are well informed in our country. So it's very important to have social studies education. So the social studies framework and the social studies professional organization recognize that, and so we're very purposeful in building a framework that allows teachers to use the standards in social studies and embed them in the work they're doing in their ELA classroom, and it's working pretty well. And hopefully we're getting more time for social studies in classrooms. So the next piece of this is social emotional learning, and this has just been added to the framework in 2019. And social emotional learning is something we will talk at in greater length later on in this course. I keep saying that, I think, but it is true. But understand that this framework is going to become, and it has become, required as part of our teaching methodology and our pedagogy. So how we teach and the social emotional skills that we need to be embedded into all aspects of both the history and social science curriculum, as well as the ELA and the math standards as well. It's embedded in the history and social science curriculum because that framework is embedded in the ELA framework. So it is in the sense social emotional learning is an area where we ask students to understand their own self-awareness, to have ideas about self-management, to be empathetic and aware of others' social needs, to build relationship skills, and to build decision-making skills. This is a lot, but this social emotional learning is part of this push to also to build better world citizens, and to also have our students learn to have civil discourse and to understand the emotional and real world situations that other people are living in. So that's a really important piece of this, and I just wanted to add it on at the end. It is also the latest in the framework, so keep that in mind as if you work at when you went to school, you may not have seen some of these things, the digital literacy specifically and the social emotional learning component, But for those of you that have children in schools, you will see these all the time. Your children will talk about it, and some of you may be seeing this in schools that you're working in now as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. We'll talk soon.